So, I heard you want to be a graphic designer in 2025. I was in the same position exactly 2 years ago. In December 2022, I decided I want to upgrade my skills as a front-end web developer by learning web design so I can become more competitive on the job market. After spending almost 2 years developing my skills and learning new things and everything I can, I have created a detailed curriculum for you to learn design in 2025. You can start in January or you can start at any other point during the year, but I think this step-by-step guide will help you. Stay until the end to find out where to get it from because it's free. Hello world, my name is Ivana and I am switching careers from front-end web development to graphic and web design. Have you been wondering where to start if you want to learn graphic design? Well, there are so many tutorials on the internet nowadays, on YouTube or anywhere you can imagine. But which one should you start with? This one. You should start with this one. I watched a lot of videos on the subject. However, many of them are only talking on the surface level about how you should learn graphic design, but they don't really go deep into what exactly should you know at the end and how to structure your learning correctly. In this video, I won't talk about the difference between going to design school or learning on your own. You might find another creator's video more helpful for this, a creator that has actually gone to school for design and art or something that you want to go after. Maybe they can explain the difference better than I can. In this video, I want to talk about learning on your own time, and with online resources. Now, in regards to how long this will take you, it will solely depend on you, how much time you have, and how much time you actually do spend learning and exercising and designing. You will need to put in the work and put in the hours. You need to keep yourself motivated because there's no one to keep you accountable. I'm giving you some estimates for like a soft pace learning, maybe 5 to 10 hours a week. So let's start. First of all, what are the duties of a graphic designer? Graphic design's goal is to communicate a message visually. We are meant to transmit a message or affect a certain group of people with a certain objective. How can one do that? Well, this could be achieved by combining color, typography, hierarchy, contrast, balance, all of the design principles and techniques that tried and true all these years. And it works. And so to start learning graphic design, you do need to know the basics. Every video says that, every course says that. You cannot jump over the basics and start learning something else before you actually learn the fundamentals. So, first step, no. Put the Photoshop down. We will not be using it yet. Be patient. I promise the time will soon come for that. I want you to spend the first or second week of your design studying to learning about the fundamentals, watching, reading, anything about the fundamentals, watching other designs as well. What do the fundamentals include? Well, you do need to know about the elements of design, that is line, shape, color, texture, space. But you also need to learn the principles of design: balance, contrast, emphasis, rhythm, unity. You need to know color theory. Learn the color wheel, learn the color harmonies, and learn color psychology. You need to know about typography. What is a typeface? What are the different typefaces? What is a typographical hierarchy? And how to pair fonts. You need to know about composition and layout. What are grids? What is white space and negative space? What is alignment and proximity? I want to tell you why you're learning all of this. I know it might be boring for some of you and you might want to jump straight into some software to make nice pictures, but if you start off with a blank canvas, how do you know where to put the elements in your design? How do you know which colors to choose for your design? How do you know which typefaces to choose for your design? You need to have a plan of how to arrange elements, what colors to use, and what fonts to use to convey the right message to the people who are going to see your design. This is why we cannot jump the gun here and go straight to designing. We need to know the fundamentals first, and we need to follow these certain steps. So I want you to watch this playlist by Learn Free channel, which has a set of very interesting and easily digestible videos for beginners. There are also many other longer videos or maybe articles on the basics and fundamentals that you might try. This one I prefer by Envaro Tuts. You can check it on their channel. And when the first couple of weeks of you learning fundamentals is done, I want to give you an assignment. Let's do some checks of what you've learned and how well you've learned it. Go on Pinterest or somewhere else that you can see designs and try to watch for what they're doing wrong or what they're doing right. See if they are good designs or bad designs and what makes them good or bad in your opinion. First in your opinion, and second, based on the fundamentals. Which of the design principles they're using in the design and what feeling are they creating? How are they creating it? By which colors and which typefaces? If you still think you don't have like a good grasp on this, spend maybe a week more on the fundamentals and try again the assignment in a week or so. And let me know down in the comments how you did the first assignment. Great! Let's start with the next step after you're done learning the basics. Here you can finally open the Photoshop. Fine. If you don't have Photoshop, there is a free alternative called GIMP that you can download for free on from their website. The next few weeks to a month, we will be learning Photoshop is a raster-based program. So we will be learning a raster-based program. If you don't have Photoshop and maybe you have affinity products, you can use that one as well. What I want you to do is open the Photoshop or whatever program, software, and practice at least every day. If you cannot every day, at least every other day. There are some great resources online, especially on YouTube, where you can learn Photoshop for free. I will be linking them in the description down below. The very long tutorial by Learn It channel is great for the basics of Photoshop. Another great tutor is Dan from Bring Your Own Laptop, and you can check their videos in the description. There is a certain set of skills I want you to have at the end of the month when you learn Photoshop. You need to know how to work with layers. You need to learn how to work with layer masks and non-destructive photo manipulation. I need you to know how to select and work with the pen tool. You need to know the adjustment layers and clipping masks and how to use them, obviously. You need to know about smart objects. It's very necessary for this. This is the same as the non-destructive photo manipulation. You need to learn about smart objects. The catch here, while you're learning Photoshop, do not forget the basics. This is why we learned the basics, so that you can finally use them with a tool of your choice. In this case, it's Photoshop. When you're making designs in Photoshop, use your skills in color theory, in typography, in how to create hierarchy in the design, how to compose your design. All of this you should be thinking about when working in Photoshop or working on your design. Honestly, even if you're following a tutorial, you should be following along what type of design principles they're following and why are they making certain decisions. Why are they making certain decisions about hierarchy or layout and composition? Have all the fundamentals at the back of your mind. This is why we learn them first. At the end of the Photoshop month, I want you to I want to give you another assignment. You've learned the basics. You now know Photoshop. I want you to create a movie poster of your choice. Post down in the comments which movie poster you chose and how it went. Disclaimer about this task. Think about what is important for a poster to have. Look at other posters and possibly look at other posters of the same movie that you chose. What did they do? Where did they place the text? Where did they place the actors' names? What other important information did they include that you might include as well? And also think about where this poster is going to be used and what is it going to be used for. It needs to catch attention, it needs to have the important information visible, and it needs to show what the movie is about, possibly. Think about all of these things so that movie poster can have the biggest impact. Good luck! Alright, now we know the basics. We know how to work with Photoshop or another raster-based program. The next thing on the list is start using Adobe Illustrator or another vector-based program. For this one, you might need a little bit more time. I will give you a month, but take as long as you need. What is the difference between a raster and a vector-based program? It is a fundamental difference, actually. The raster image-based programs, they work with pixels. This means that their size is usually fixed and it cannot be scaled up, or once scaled down, it cannot be scaled back to its original size. On the other hand, the vector-based programs, they work with vectors. Vectors, unlike raster images and pixels, are mathematical functions created in certain shapes and could be scaled up or down, and they will not change how they look. They will not get pixelated as some photographs, for example, could get. There will not be any tiny pixels, squares that you could see once scaled up. To work as a designer, you need to know the difference between these two types of software, and you need to know when to use which. For example, the vector-based programs, they are typically used when creating logos, because they can be, the logos can be scaled up or down depending on where you need to put them. I have a video in the cards about the difference between raster and vector graphics for you to check out. Now, if you don't have Adobe Illustrator installed or you can't afford it, a free alternative to it, another vector-based program, is called Inkscape. Now, as free resources where you can learn online, I recommend this over 6-hour video of the Learn It channel that you can check out, and take your time getting comfortable with a vector-based program. You don't need to push yourself to go too fast, but if you need to, obviously try out some stuff. Play with the software and learn all that it can do. Another interesting course is, again, by Bring Your Own Laptop, that you can also check here in the cards. And by the end of the month, or however long it took you to feel comfortable using this next software, I need you to know how to work with grids and guides, layers and artboards. This is in Illustrator. I'm talking about Illustrator in this case. I want you to work with layers, grids, guides, and artboards like it's easy for you. You need to know the difference between fill and stroke, using the pen tool, the selection and direct selection tool. You need to know the pathfinder and the shape builder tool. You need to know how to work with the appearance panel in Illustrator, the type tool and typography manipulation, and as an extra, you can experiment and play around with the 3D effects if you want. While learning Illustrator, you need to keep the design basics at the back of your mind again. We cannot do anything about the design basics. Another thing that I want you to delve deeper this month while learning Illustrator is creating simple shapes and then trying to make more complex shapes out of them, but still try to keep them as simple as possible. Let's say you want to create a version of an animal. How would this animal look with only simple shapes? This means circles, squares, triangles. This will help you in the future when you try to make logos, for example. You will have a much better grasp to how to make something simple but still have meaning. Try out manipulating typography. This is also a helpful skill to have. However, be careful that the letters remain legible, because legibility is very important in design. Now, at the end of the Illustrator month, I want to give you another assignment. And no, it's not making a logo. Calm down, we will get to it. I want you to feel very comfortable using Illustrator. This is why I want to challenge you to create an infographic. The subject is of your choice. Infographics present data or some type of information with graphical elements in a visually pleasing way. And they make this information easily digestible, easily scannable, easily understandable. Try making an infographic at the end of the Illustrator month and let me know how it went. down in the comments. Alright, step 4, Adobe InDesign. Now, I was wondering if I should include InDesign in this curriculum, since I have not really used it that much in my career yet, but it's only been a couple years, But I decided to do it because it's important to cover some things about design, which is the difference between print and digital. Adobe InDesign is used mostly to create layout designs. That is when you see a magazine spread or the whole magazine or books, those are usually created with a software such as Adobe InDesign. This means that the main deliverable out of this, out of your work with InDesign will be something that is printed on paper. This means that it will exist in the real world somewhere. So what is the difference between making something for print and making something for digital? Well, the main difference is that for the digital world, you work in a color model called RGB. RGB stands for red, green, and blue. Those are the 3 colors that make up the color model. The print world, on the other hand, works in CMYK. Those 4 colors, this CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, or key color. Why is there even a distinction though? The most important distinction here is that the color model RGB is called an additive color model. This means that the 3 colors, red, green, and blue, have to be added to create white. On the other hand, CMYK is called subtractive color model because you have to subtract all 4 colors to get white. And I think this is better explained by someone else again, so I will link in the cards the video that I like about this subject. I cannot stress enough how important these 2 color models are. Of course, you can work in CMYK in Photoshop and Illustrator as well, but the main point of InDesign is to work for print. So that's why I wanted to include this, again, Learn It channel coming in hot with the 6-hour video on this software. But I also want you to focus on layout. How do you lay out the text and images on the, let's say, a spread for a magazine or a book or something like that? I want you to focus on typography and hierarchy most especially. Where do you put the information so that it's easily scannable by somebody, but also put images in such a way that it will grab someone's attention so that they would want to read the text. Make it pop! And again, I have an assignment for you after the InDesign month. And it's logical. I want you to make a cover and a spread in a magazine. Subject is again of your choice. Like I said, think about how to lay out the information so that it's easily scannable, but also captivating so that it makes the person read. Exercise layout and typography because they are very important. Whew! After all of this studying, what was it all for? So here we are. Let's try out real projects. Let's recap what we know. We know the fundamentals, we know a raster program, and we know a vector program. Let's create something for the real world. Honestly, to be a graphic designer, you need to know a little bit, if not a lot, of marketing. You need to be able to sell a product, a service, or a whole experience. And so what we've learned so far were the tools that you can use to sell. You need to sell these things. I want to leave you with this video from Satori Graphics about marketing for designers. And I should add, advertising is not easy, especially not in our fast-paced moving digital world where you may see 1,000 ads a day. But it is crucial for designers to be able to handle designing with the intention of selling. At the end of the day, your designs solve a problem for the client. This should be your main goal when designing. In the case of advertisement, this could be selling more products, selling tickets to a movie, creating engagement, or like announcing an event, all of these things. What are some graphic design deliverables when it comes to advertising? Well, this could be print materials such as posters, flyers, or brochures, but it could also be digital products such as social media images or reels or even email marketing campaign. These are all different mediums, print and digital, and they come in different sizes as well. So you will need to put in all of the things that you've learned so far into creating these assets for a campaign. See also this video from Superside where they talk about different types of ad designs. So for your next assignment, I want to challenge you with creating a marketing campaign for a company or a product of your choice. Let's break it down what you should do. First of all, there is a concept for the campaign. Usually someone else comes up with these concepts, but in this case it should be you, because if you have someone else, of course, help you with this, then feel free. So you will need to come up with a concept that is interesting to you, preferably, about what the marketing campaign should be about. Choose a product you believe in, or a brand that might do an event that you like. Second, you need to decide your target audience for the campaign. Are you designing for younger people, or maybe an older audience? What other demographics do they have? Location, for example. Third, decide on the objective of the campaign. Is it to bring more awareness to a problem? Is it to bring more people to an event? Is it to sell more tickets to a movie? This will all depend on the company that you've chosen to work for. 4, you need to create a key visual for your campaign. The key visual is the main artwork and style that your campaign will be based on. If it's a younger audience, that might be a little bit more playful, more illustrative key visual. If it's for a luxurious event, then it should look more luxurious. Colors, typography, imagery, they should all go with your target audience and your key visual. And 5th, distribute your key visual and its style throughout all of the marketing materials for the campaign. What does that include? This could be a poster, let's say a format A3, a flyer of A5 format, Facebook cover image for a page or an event page, an Instagram carousel of 3 to 4 images, or it could be 3 or 4 other social media images that are not connected as a carousel, but they will still be with the same style. Any other marketing materials that you think might be appropriate for your campaign? I don't know, a ticket to an event or movie, merch, email campaign. You will need to decide for your case. Among other things, this assignment might help you to think about some copywriting as well. What are some catchy slogans that your campaign could have? Or maybe some wordplay that you could have on the maybe brand name or something like that. Designers are not necessarily copywriters, or they don't have to be, but it might be good for you to practice some of it so that in the future you might be able to communicate easier with other copywriters or marketing experts. At the end of this assignment, I truly believe that this will be good enough for you to put in your portfolio. Let me know down in the comments how this assignment went, what marketing campaign you chose, and anything else you want to share. Good luck! Alright. This is the final step. It is finally time to get into branding. Also, if you have watched until this point, thank you so much, and please like the video. Thank you. For this final step, you should take as long as you need, possibly till the rest of your life. Now, when we talk about branding, I realize that not everyone will be drawn to this type of design. It is a huge undertaking that may take years to learn. It is complex because there are so many moving parts and parts of the brand and the visual identity design that you have to plan for and you have to consider at the back of your head while designing. There is a difference between branding and visual identity design. In visual identity, we will include things like logo, colors, typography, images, patterns, while branding, apart from all the things that we mentioned in visual identity, also includes the brand's mission, values, how it communicates with its users, its tone of voice, and so on. The goal of both branding and visual identity is to represent the company in the best possible way for its industry and target audience, and for it to be consistent throughout all mediums so that the company could easily be recognizable by its customers. Now, I fell in love with branding after watching Abby Connick's videos on designing a brand, and even though since then I've followed other creators who design brand identities, and I've learned so much more from probably other places as well. I don't know, her videos still remain something very iconic to me and are still my favorite. So if you haven't seen her videos yet, I will link her channel. And if you want to create visual identities in the future, you might like her videos as a guidance. So what goes into designing for visual identity? Like I said before, a brand or a company should have a logo. This includes a logo mark or an icon, and a logo type or a word mark. It could only be a word mark. The most important thing with logos is that they should be responsive, as in there should be a set of logos for different sizes. An app icon is a different size than a poster, for example. So the brand's logo set should have available logo variations for both. There is a lot that goes into logo design, so you should probably spend a significant time here. Next is the brand's color palette. Which colors is the brand going to use and in what context? The color psychology comes to your help here. Which colors are associated with your brand's values and industry and target audience? Which colors are going to be your main colors and which are going to be accent colors? Next is the brand's typography rules. Which typefaces will they use and in what context will they be used? Headings, body copy, maybe accent typefaces with a handwritten script or something. Again, choosing these will depend on your brand's industry, values, and target audience. What imagery is the brand going to use? Is it going to be mainly illustrative or maybe mainly photographic? And you could choose photography from or illustrations from image stock sites you could buy. You don't have to make it yourself. They could hire a photographer, for example, to take photographs, but all of them should be consistent throughout and should be cohesive. Iconography. What kind of icons is the brand going to use? Are they going to be only with stroke, thick or thin? And all of this should be, like I said, cohesive and consistent. As you can see, all of the things that you learned the past 4 to 5 months will come in handy when designing for a brand's visual identity. And this is why I left it last. Also, the learning here will probably never end. There will always be challenges when designing for brands, and there will always be lessons to be learned. Your assignment, of course, after this is to create a visual identity for a brand of your choice. If you cannot come with the brief for yourself, then feel free to use ChatGPT to generate you a brief, or check out my channel. I did many videos on logo design where I read briefs that might be interesting for you. Put everything you've learned up to this point into designing for this brand's visual identity. I believe in you, and comment below how it went. Good luck! So you're probably asking yourself, okay, Ivana, after all of this, how to continue learning? Well, I have a few strategies that might help you with this. First and most important is to exercise your skills. Try to exercise a skill or a concept you may be lacking. For example, you might think that you're not strong with composition or layout, so, well, you need to exercise making compositions and layouts, you know? Second, you need to make more things. You need to work on more and more projects, maybe passion projects or client projects, so that you can solve more problems and earn more experience points. Check out this video in the cards from Juxtaposed. I think it explains pretty well what I have in mind. Third, there are other types of design, and some of them might inspire you or push you to create more things and draw inspiration from them for your graphic design. For example, there is motion design, there is web and UI design. If you want try some of these things and draw some inspiration from them and then put it into graphic design. And last, copy other people's work. I know, it's controversial, but do not claim it as your own. Copy and reverse engineer their work to see maybe some techniques or some compositions and layouts that they've used. That way you learn their technique and you can then implement it into your designs. Like I said, yes, copy and reverse engineer, but do not plagiarize. And post your designs for feedback. Do not be afraid of the feedback. This is the main way to get better. Search the opinion of someone who is more experienced than you so that they could maybe show you what to work on, and then try to improve of those things. But watch so that the feedback is constructive. In the end, some other resources that I want you to check out is the Future channel. If you haven't seen that channel yet, it is absolutely amazing. It has so much information packed in there. I want you to check out some videos where Chris Do is giving feedback and art direction. They are so beneficial to me, so I hope that they will help you too. Another playlist that they have is called Building a Brand, and that might be interesting to those of you who want to take on branding design. Satori Graphics is a great channel with tips on how to improve your designs. And Garrett David Studio has so many free videos on design, the softwares, and his teaching is absolutely magnificent. I recommend. After watching all of the materials included in this video, I am pretty sure you will be able to find the information that will help you advance in your design skills and to continue your studies. In the description, you'll find a link with a PDF with all of the information that I shared today, including all of the links that I also shared in this video that I made for you to consult with during your studies. If you appreciated the information that I shared with you in this video, please like the video. And I put a lot of work into it, so if you found it helpful, please subscribe to the channel and share the video with someone who might also benefit from hearing this information. So in the next video, I want to talk a little bit about some non-design skills that you might need on the workplace or if you want to start freelancing. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Yeah, do all the YouTube-y things like share, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!